I was crouched behind the gym bleachers, trying to catch a glimpse of my son during the school play. "There he is," I whispered to myself, grinning. My heart swelled every time he waved at me. My wife, Emma, stood a few feet away chatting with another parent. Everything felt normal, perfect even. That was about to end. "Daddy!" My son's voice rang out. I smiled until I heard it again. "Dad!" Look, I froze. He had called someone else Dad. My stomach dropped, cold and heavy. I scanned the crowd frantically. My eyes landed on a man, tall, smiling, holding my son's hand like it was his own. I blinked, hoping it was some mistake. "Did you hear that?" I whispered to myself. My hands were shaking. I couldn't move. Emma walked over, her smile still intact. "What are you staring at?" I swallowed hard. Who's that man with him?" Emma's smile faltered slightly, but she recovered. "Oh, that's just Mr. Lawson. He's helping out today." "Helping out?" My voice rose. "He's holding my son's hand. He's calling him Dad." Emma's eyes widened for a fraction of a second. I don't know what you mean." "Don't know what I mean?" He literally called another man Dad. I felt my voice cracking, disbelief mixing with fury. "What is going on?" Emma looked away. It's not like that. You're overreacting." "Overreacting?" I laughed bitterly. "My son just called another man Dad, and you're saying I'm overreacting?" Emma bit her lip, quiet for a moment. "Look, maybe you just misunderstood." "Misunderstood?" I heard it with my own ears. I clenched my fist, trying to steady myself. "Tell me the truth, Emma, now." She sighed, avoiding eye contact. "I can't not hear. Can we talk at home?" "No, I want it now." My voice was louder than I intended, but I couldn't control it. "Why would he call him that?" "Who is he?" Emma's hands trembled slightly. "It's complicated. I didn't mean for you to find out this way." "Complicated? Our life was perfect, Emma. I trusted you. I trusted us. How long has this been going on?" Her lips quivered. "It's not what you think. I didn't want to hurt you." "Hurt me? You call another man Dad in front of my son, and that's your idea of not hurting me?" My chest tightened. I felt like I couldn't breathe. "I didn't know how to tell you," she whispered, finally looking at me. Her eyes were pleading, but all I saw was betrayal. "I can't believe this," I muttered, stepping back. "I thought we had everything. I thought I knew you." "I still love you," she said, her voice trembling. "I never wanted to love me?" I scoffed. "Do you even know what that means? Because I swear, if you're lying to me right now..." My voice broke. "I'm not lying," she cried, taking a step toward me. "Please, just calm down. We can talk." I shook my head, my hands on my face. "Talk after this? How do we talk about this? How do you explain this?" Heard again, my son's innocent voice reached me from the stage. "Daddy!" He looked confused, turning to both men. My heart ached, but the anger was unbearable. I wanted to hold him, to protect him from this, from her, from everything. Emma reached for my hand. I pulled it back. "Don't touch me," I said quietly, my voice hollow. I need to think." I walked away from the gym, my mind spinning. The perfect life I had believed in, the family I thought I knew, shattered. Everything I trusted, everything I loved, felt like a lie. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Every time I closed my eyes, my son's voice echoed, "Dad!" meant for someone else. At work, I sat across from my colleague James, trying to focus on spreadsheets, but my mind kept drifting. "You've been quiet all morning," James said, leaning back in his chair. "Something wrong?" "Nothing. Just tired," I muttered, forcing a smile. James frowned. "You sure?" "You're off." And not in your usual way, I hesitated. "It's family stuff. I'll handle it." James nodded but didn't push. I envied his ignorance, his ability to separate work from life. I wished I could be that detached, but my mind kept replaying the scene from the school play. When I got home, Emma was in the kitchen, humming softly, chopping vegetables. She looked at me and smiled. "You're late." "I had a long day," I said, watching her. The way she moved, the casual ease, felt like a mask now. She glanced at my face. "Still thinking about yesterday?" "Yes," I said bluntly. "Why did he call him Dad, Emma?" "I need answers." Emma froze, knife hovering above the cutting board. "I told you it's complicated." "Complicated?" "My son called another man Dad." "That's not complicated. That's betrayal." My voice cracked. She set the knife down, leaning against the counter. "You're reading too much into it." It doesn't mean what? I demanded. That it's okay? That I should ignore it? Emma sighed. Look, I didn't want to tell you. I was trying to protect you and him. Protect me? By letting him call another man dad? I ran my hands through my hair, pacing. I trusted you, Emma. I trusted us. How am I supposed to feel safe anymore? She said nothing. I hated the silence. It was heavy with unspoken truths. The next day, I met my best friend Ryan at a cafe. He always had a way of calming me, even when I was spiraling. You look like hell, he said, sliding a coffee across the table. Thanks, I muttered. I don't know what to do. Emma, my son, it's like my life is falling apart and I can't see straight. Ryan frowned. Slow down, talk to me. What happened? I told him bits and pieces, careful not to spill everything. Ryan listened, shaking his head. Man, that sucks, he said finally. But are you sure you're not overreacting? Kids say stuff all the time. Maybe he just, I don't know, confused. Confused? I laughed bitterly. My son knows the difference between his real dad and someone else. You have no idea how obvious it was, Ryan shrugged. I'm just saying don't let this destroy you. You could be reading too much into things. I clenched my fists under the table. You don't get it. You weren't there. You didn't hear it. It's not just words, Ryan. It's everything I thought I knew about my life. Ryan leaned back, sighing. Okay, I get it's bad. But don't go crazy trying to figure it all out alone. Talk to her. Sort it out. I can't, I muttered. Every time I try, she evades me. Lies. Just small ones, but they're everywhere. I feel like I'm losing reality, Ryan. He rubbed my shoulder. Just take it slow. You can't fix everything in a day. But I didn't take it slow. I started noticing tiny things. Emma's phone going off late at night, quick glances when I asked a question, vague stories that didn't match up. My paranoia grew with each passing hour. At home, my son tugged at my sleeve. Daddy, are you mad at Mommy? I froze. No, nobody. Daddy's not mad at Mommy, just thinking. He tilted his head. I don't like it when you look sad, Daddy. I know, I said, holding him tight. I just want everyone to be happy. That's all? He smiled weakly and ran off to play. I watched him, my chest tightening. He was innocent, untainted, and I wanted to shield him from the storm I was in. But how could I? How could I protect him when the world around us was crumbling and the people I trusted most were the ones breaking it apart? I sat in the living room long after he went to bed, staring at the shadows on the wall. Emma's soft hum from the kitchen didn't comfort me. It reminded me that the perfect life I thought I had was nothing but a fragile illusion, and I was left standing in the pieces. I couldn't sleep. My mind was a storm of anger and confusion. I kept replaying the school event, the dad that wasn't me, and Emma's vague excuses. I needed answers, concrete ones. I waited until she left for yoga and then grabbed her laptop. Emma always locks it, I muttered, but maybe she trusts me enough to leave it unlocked when she's gone. I opened it and froze. Her email inbox filled with messages I wasn't supposed to see. My heart pounded as I clicked. One subject line caught my eye. Dinner tomorrow, can't wait. The sender? A name I didn't recognize. Michael Lawson. I opened the message. Had a great time today. Can't wait to see you and little Jake. Jake? I whispered. My son's name. My chest tightened. I scrolled through more emails, more messages, some hidden under folders. Everyone was full of private jokes, secret plans, and photos. Photos of Emma and Michael together, at restaurants, walking hand in hand, laughing. My blood ran cold. I sank into the chair. No, this isn't real. I called Ryan. I need help, I whispered into the phone, my hands shaking. You have to see this. Calm down. What happened? Ryan's voice was steady like an anchor. I can't explain. Just come over. 10 minutes later, Ryan was in my apartment, his brow furrowed. I handed him the laptop. He scrolled through the emails and photos. His face darkened. Holy man, wow, he stammered. I mean, yeah, that's serious. It's more than serious, I said, my voice tight. He's in our life. My son, he's calling him Dad. Michael Lawson. He wants to replace me. He's manipulating her. And I don't know how long it's been going on. Ryan rubbed his temple. Damn, I didn't expect this. Are you sure? I pointed at the screen. Look at this. Restaurants, weekend trips, little notes to Jake calling him buddy, little champ. Everything I thought was our gone. Ryan swallowed. I mean, wow. This is insane. I felt rage boil over. Insane? Ryan, this is my life, my son. And they're trying to erase me from it. Ryan tried to calm me down. Okay. You need to think clearly. Don't just react. But yeah, this is bad, I paced. Think clearly? Ryan, I've been thinking clearly for weeks, and all I got were lies and evasions. Emma pretended everything was fine while planning this. Ryan nodded slowly. So what now? I clenched my fists. Now I find out how deep it goes. Every message, every photo, every little detail. I can't let this continue. I won't let my son grow up thinking someone else is his dad. Ryan hesitated. Are you planning to confront them? I don't know yet. Not until I know the full picture. I need proof. I need certainty. My voice was hard, controlled, but my chest was on fire. I can't trust Emma, not anymore. Not after this. Ryan leaned back, rubbing his jaw. Man, you're in deep. But you're right. You need to be smart. I nodded, shutting the laptop. Smart, yes. But I also need revenge, Ryan. Not just to protect my son, but to make sure they understand what they've done. Ryan's eyes widened. Careful. Don't lose yourself in this. But I get it. I do. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, Michael's smiling face appeared in my mind, holding my son, laughing as if he owned everything I loved. I felt humiliation, heartbreak, fury, all at once. I whispered to the darkness, I won't let this happen. Not him, not you. Not her. I'll fix this. I'll make them regret underestimating me. I'll get my life back. The next day, I started compiling evidence. Emails, screenshots, photos, little inconsistencies Emma had never admitted to. I needed the full picture. Every lie she told, every secret she kept. It all added up to a betrayal I couldn't ignore. I caught myself staring at my son's drawings on the fridge. Little stick figures, smiling faces. One figure had two dads. My chest ached. Not yours, I whispered. Not if I can help it. I realized in that moment, I wasn't the man I was yesterday. That version of me trusted too easily. That version let his heart blind him. That version was gone, and I promised myself, quietly, fiercely, that I would never let them take him away. I hadn't slept properly in days. My mind kept replaying Emma and Michael laughing, holding Jake's hand, pretending I didn't exist. I poured coffee into a mug, hands shaking. At work, James noticed immediately. You okay, man? You look off. I'm fine, I muttered, staring at my computer. You sure? He pressed, leaning over my desk. Yes, I snapped too harshly. His eyebrows rose, surprised. Fine, I said. Let me work. James backed off slowly. I rubbed my temples, cursing myself. Why was I letting him see this side of me? I was supposed to be calm, collected. Not a man spiraling over a wife and some stranger. Later, my phone buzzed. It was Emma. Hey, she said, voice soft. Can we talk tonight? I know things are tense. Tense? I laughed bitterly. You mean betrayal? You want to call months of lies tense? I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispered. I ran a hand through my hair. You didn't mean for this to happen? Jake called another man dad. That's not an accident, Emma, that's deliberate. Save it, I said, cutting her off. I can't even look at you without thinking of him holding my son. How do you expect me to function, Emma? How do I go to work, sit across from colleagues, act like life is normal? She was silent. I could hear her sniffle through the line. Answer me, I yelled. Do you even understand what you've done? Do you care? I do, she whispered. I care more than you know. Then why? I asked, voice cracking. Why destroy everything we built? Everything I trusted? You thought what? That I wouldn't notice? That I'd let another man raise my son while I stayed blind? I trusted you. I trusted us. The line went quiet. I ended the call before I said something I'd regret. I needed air, space, distance from the madness. At home, Jake ran up to me, smiling. Daddy, can we play? I knelt down, forcing a smile. Of course, buddy, he handed me a drawing. Look, this is you and me and Mommy. I froze. 2 stick figures, one holding a smaller one's hand, another stick figure smiling beside them. My stomach twisted. Who's that? I asked, voice low. That's Daddy and Uncle Mike, he said innocently. Uncle Mike? My chest tightened. Jake, that's not... I like Uncle Mike, he said, shrugging. He's funny. I felt my hands clench into fists. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I forced myself to kneel, taking a deep breath. "I see, that's interesting. Daddy?" he asked, tilting his head. "Are you mad?" "Not mad," I lied, voice shaking. "Just thinking, buddy. Thinking about things." Later that night, I stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment, every missed sign. The late-night messages on her phone, the sudden meetings she never explained. Every smile, every touch that now felt like a lie. I whispered to myself, how did I not see this? How could I be so blind? Regret gnawed at me. I blamed myself for trusting too easily, for ignoring little warnings. I hated that I was angry, but I hated even more that I had allowed this betrayal to happen under my nose. Sleep finally came, but it was fitful, filled with dreams of Michael holding Jake, Emma laughing beside him and me fading into the background. I woke exhausted, chest tight, heart heavy. I knew something had to change. I couldn't keep spiraling like this. But anger and pain fueled me now, sharpened me. They lit a fire I hadn't felt before. I won't let this continue, I muttered, staring at my reflection in the mirror. Not Michael. Not Emma, not anyone. I'll fix this. I'll make them understand. I'll get my life back. For the first time in days, I felt purpose mixed with rage. The emotional fallout was brutal, but it was also the fuel I needed to take action. I had been broken, humiliated, and betrayed. But I would rise from it, and they would pay for what they'd done. I sat at the kitchen table with a pad of paper, a pen, and a new kind of resolve. So what's the plan? Ryan asked, sliding into the chair opposite me. I'm not going to rush this, I said. I'm going to be methodical, quiet, precise. Methodical how? He asked. You mean like dig up more evidence? Yes, I said. Proof matters, but also influence. I know how people talk, how reputations bend. Michael Lawson relies on charm and status. He's used to getting what he wants by smiling. He thinks money replaces loyalty. How do you hit someone like that without looking desperate? Ryan asked. You don't attack him directly, I said. You undermine him where he's blind. His job, his image, small cracks that widen. I'll plant doubt in his circle. I'll make Emma see him differently. Subtle things, missed meetings, little lies exposed, questions that fester. That sounds dangerous, Ryan said. You sure you want to stoop to that? I'm not stooping, I said. I'm protecting my son. There's a difference. So where do we start? He asked. We find his patterns, I said. Where his ego shows. Start with his public life. Find a weak moment to exploit. I can do that. I know people who owe favors. I can plant small rumors that look natural. Not slander, just careful nudges. You sound like a chess player, Ryan said. It's necessary, I said. You think I like doing this? I would rather break my own hands than let Jake call someone else dad, but if I must play hard, I will. What about Emma? You planning to go soft on her? He asked. She betrayed me, I said. But she's still Jake's mother. My aim is to separate their influence from my son, not to ruin every scrap of her life. For now, I'll use what shakes her. Remind her of what she risks. And legally? Custody? Ryan asked. Not yet, I said. First, destabilize the lie. Then I build the case if I have to. People give up things when they think the cost is too high. If Michael loses footing, Emma might step back. You sure you can keep this from burning you? Revenge eats people, Ryan warned. I know the risk, I said. But anger gives clarity. I'll set lines and not cross them. No public shaming. No violence. Just leverage. All right. If you're doing this, you need allies. Let me handle the social angle. I'll talk to a few people casually. Good. I wrote a list. Michael's employer, a woman he flirts with publicly, a charity event he sponsors, his favorite bar. I'll get samples, pictures, receipts, time gaps, anything that contradicts his story. You're not going to confront him yet? Ryan asked. No, I want him to make mistakes first. Overconfidence is his weakness. He'll think he's untouchable. He underestimates me, I muttered. He thinks I'm fragile. He's wrong. What about Jake? Ryan asked. How are you protecting him from watching this mess? I keep him away from the scenes, I said. More time with me, structured days, school activities. I'll be present. I won't lie to him if he asks. I'll answer simply, some grown-ups made bad choices. I'll protect his sense of safety. You sound like you've changed, Ryan said softly. I have to, I said. The old me accepted things. The new me is precise. I'm building a map to control the chaos. I tap the pen. Step 1, collect and catalog. Step 2, introduce doubt. Step 3, watch the cracks widen. Step 4, take custody steps if needed. I'll get to work, Ryan said, standing. Be careful, okay? I will, I promised. He left and I sat alone with the list. The pen felt heavier now, but with purpose instead of confusion. I read names aloud. Teresa at the charity, she hates opportunists. Mark at his firm, he covers sloppy work. Lisa, the bartender, she remembers faces. Ryan typed fast. We plant small questions. Did he show up? Did he answer sponsor calls? Little things that make people whisper. What if he fights back? Ryan asked. Then he exposes himself, I said. Anger shows true colors. If he lashes out, he'll be the unstable one. I'll record and document. Stay 2 moves ahead. We plan dates and places late into the night. I drove past his favorite bar once, watching dim windows, imagining the first gentle push that would widen the cracks. My throat tightened, but I felt ready. This wasn't just revenge. This was to keep Jake's place now. I called a contact at the firm where Michael volunteered. Hi, I need to ask about a fundraiser he was at last weekend, I said in a measured voice. The plan was starting. The cracks were tiny now, and I would widen them until Michael couldn't stand. I started small. Did you see Michael at the fundraiser? I asked casually when I bumped into Teresa from the charity. She looked at me, polite and sharp. Yes, we had a problem with a missing donation check afterwards. Oh? That's odd. I smiled, voice easy. Do you remember if he left early? Teresa frowned. I think he left before the speeches. We thought he had to take a call. I let the pause hang like a loose thread. At the bar, Lisa laughed when I mentioned Michael. He's always charming, she said, but he left with a woman last Saturday. Seemed intense. Anyone notice, I asked? People ignore the obvious, she said, taking a slow sip. Back home, Emma was on the sofa, scrolling. You're late. Long day, I said. Teresa mentioned a missing check. Michael left early. She didn't look shocked. He volunteers a lot, she said. It might be nothing. Maybe, I said, but odd. At the school gate, whispers wrapped around us. Did you hear Michael skipped the charity dinner? Mrs. Alvarez asked another parent. I drifted by, feigning indifference. The whisper caught Emma's eye. She brushed it off with a small laugh that didn't reach her mouth. One night, she asked, Why are you doing this? Her voice was small, worn. Because I couldn't let him take our son, I said plainly. Jake called him Dad. Emma closed her eyes. I didn't mean for it to hurt you like this, she said. Intentions don't erase what happened, I said. I nudged people gently. Questions about times, mentions of missed calls, harmless observations that planted doubt. He seemed distracted at the event, I told someone who worked with him. He left early, didn't he? The person's eyebrows knitted. Small things germinated in small heads. Then I did something lower risk but effective. I told Mark at Michael's firm in casual concern, You okay after the fundraiser? Heard someone got too drunk covering tables, Mark cursed. Not good. I let it sit there like a thorn. No one wanted to associate with messes. At dinner, Jake ran in, breathless. Daddy, look! He shoved a drawing at me, 2 stick figures holding a smaller one's hand, another figure beside them with a heart scribbled near it. That's Uncle Mike, he said. I forced a smile. Uncle Mike? I asked. Emma said lightly. A friend at school. He means no harm. My son shrugged. Uncle Mike makes funny faces. Good, I said, voice even. Make sure you draw Daddy too, okay? He nodded and scampered away. Inside, a storm boiled. I felt guilt for manipulating the truth, but rage kept my hand steady. The rumors worked. A volunteer mentioned Michael's early exit to a board member. The board whispered. Someone questioned his commitment. He's been unreliable lately, one said. Michael's smooth public face began to crease. I watched him at an event, smiling too hard, trying to recover. That night, Emma confronted me. You're hurting him, she said. Hurting who? I asked. Michael, she said. You're making him defensive. He's the one who made choices, I said. Choices have consequences. You're cruel, she said, tears brimming. Maybe, I admitted. Maybe I am, but I won't be erased while he smiles at my son. Her face hardened. You think destroying him helps Jake? She asked. I think exposing the truth does, I said. Days passed. I watched texts between Emma and Michael go terse. Once a playful message, "Can't wait for Saturday," became clipped. "We need to talk." I felt a twinge of satisfaction at each shift, and a deeper ache for the cost. One evening, Michael stormed into a meeting at the charity, face red. "Who said I left early?" he snapped. Volunteers exchanged looks. A woman said quietly, "We noticed." He tried to force a smile. It looked brittle. I could see him calculating defensives, the first tremor of doubt. Ryan caught me after and asked, "You okay?" "I did what needed to be done," I said. "We're not done." He warned, "This could change you." I nodded. "I know, but I can't stand idle." Guilt crept in at simple moments. Jake climbed into my lap and asked, "Why is Mommy sad?" I fumbled. "Adults have problems, bud." He looked at me, serious for a boy, and said, "Don't let them take Daddy." I hugged him and promised the world I couldn't guarantee. Sometimes I dreamed of a life before the emails, before the lies. Waking felt like punishment and purpose at once. I had become someone strategic, patient, a man willing to fold others' reputations like paper to keep what mattered. At the same time, moral lines blurred. Was I protecting my son or teaching him to tear people down? I caught myself smiling at a small victory and immediately feeling sick. The power I gained tasted metallic and hollow. I kept planting seeds, contradictory reports, casual remarks, pointed questions. People started to pause before mentioning Michael. Emma and he fought more. His texts went unanswered. His public confidence wavered. One night I stood outside his favorite bar, watching through a window as he laughed, less freely. He met my eyes and tried to grin. It fell flat. I walked away, heart pounding. The plan worked, but each success carved a notch in me. When Jake whispered, "Don't let them take Daddy," I held him close. "I won't," I said. The promise was a vow and a threat. I had started tearing their world to save mine, and in the tearing I couldn't tell if I was rebuilding or destroying the last of what I loved. I walked into the house, Jake's laughter echoing down the hallway. I didn't hear Emma. Something in the silence made me tense. I set my keys down and called out, "Emma, we need to talk." She appeared from the kitchen, drying her hands on a towel. "I thought you were working late." "I left," I said, voice sharp. "I can't do this anymore." "We need to talk now." Her eyes flicked to mine, unease creeping in. "Talk about what?" I stepped closer. "Don't play dumb." "I know everything, Emma. Every lie, every secret, every text, every meeting with Michael." She swallowed hard. "I didn't think you'd find out." "Didn't think I'd find out?" I snapped. "You think hiding emails and late-night calls would protect you?" "Protect him." "Protect yourself? You betrayed me. My trust, our son, everything." Jake appeared at the doorway, small and confused. "Daddy? Mommy?" I glanced at him, forcing calm. "Stay here, buddy." "Play with your blocks. I'll be right there." He hesitated but nodded, retreating to his toys. Emma's lips trembled. "I never meant for you to hurt like this." "I never meant to hurt me?" I laughed bitterly. "You destroyed the life we had. You let another man call my son Dad. You replaced me while pretending to be faithful. Do you even understand what you've done?" Her eyes welled with tears. I thought I could manage both. I didn't realize." "You didn't realize?" My voice cracked. "You didn't realize the trust you shattered, the heart you broke? Do you even think about Jake? Do you see what you've done to him, to me?" "I'm sorry," she whispered, almost inaudible. "Sorry?" I slammed my hand on the counter. "Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't bring back the life you stole. Sorry doesn't erase the betrayal." Emma flinched, hands gripping the counter. I don't know how to make it right." I leaned closer, voice low and dangerous. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be careful. Every step you take around him, around me, every word you speak to Michael, it will matter. And if you think for 1 second you can keep manipulating things, I will expose everything, every detail. And you'll watch your life unravel." She looked shocked, fear flickering in her eyes. You wouldn't." "I would," I said. "I'm done being blind. I'm done being the man you thought would stay quiet." Michael's control? He's slipping. Every smile he tries to force, every joke he tells to charm others, he's vulnerable now. And you're right in the middle of it. Her hands shook. "You're threatening me." "I'm warning you," I said, voice steady. "I'm not reckless, Emma. I've planned, I've observed, and I will act if you don't change course." You've underestimated me for too long. That stops now." She looked down, tears falling freely. I thought you'd forgive me." "Forgive you?" I laughed bitterly. "Forgiveness is earned. And right now, you've earned nothing. You've destroyed trust. You've put our son in confusion, and you'll answer for it in every way I can make sure of." I heard Michael's name slip from her lips in a shaky whisper. "Michael!" "Yes," I said. "Michael, that charming man who thinks he can replace me. He's going to see the cracks he ignored. He's going to realize he's not untouchable, and you? You're watching it unfold." Emma's face went pale. You've been plotting." "Every step," I admitted. "Every little seed of doubt, every whispered question, every small accident. You'll see the plan, Emma. You'll feel it in every corner of your life. And you'll remember who I am, who I always was, and who I will be if you push too far." Her voice trembled. You're scaring me." "Good," I said. "Let that sink in. Let Michael feel it too. He's never met me in this state. He thinks I'm naive, forgiving. That ends tonight. And if he touches Jake, even in thought, I'll make sure he regrets every laugh, every word, every moment he tried to replace me." Jake came out again, holding a block. "Daddy, why are you yelling?" I knelt and held him close, voice softening. "I'm not yelling at you, buddy. Just grown-ups are being complicated. Nothing to worry about, okay?" He nodded slowly, eyes wide, looking between us. "Okay." I stood again, looking at Emma. "You understand me, right? Every word. Every consequence. You've been warned." "Don't test me." She nodded, trembling, unable to speak. I walked past her towards the door. "Jake, come on. Let's go play outside. Daddy's here and I'll protect you." I grabbed his hand. He looked up at me, trusting, innocent, and I promised silently, no one would take that away. Through the glass, I could see Michael's office lights flicker, the first signs of unease creeping into his world. He was slipping, and I was the force behind it, I whispered to myself as we stepped into the cool evening air. This is just the beginning. No one underestimated me again. I watched it happen from the corner of the room, coffee gone cold in my hand. "They called a meeting," Ryan said, sliding into the chair beside me. "Something about funding irregularities." "That's him," I said. "Michael?" "Yeah, they're asking questions." Ryan rubbed his face. "He's in trouble." We read the email together. Board reviewing volunteer conduct and financial oversight. A small relief slid through me. "He never thought this would touch him," I muttered. At the charity office, Mark cornered Michael in the lobby. "Are these receipts yours?" Mark asked, holding a small stack. Michael laughed too easily. "There's been a mistake." "Not when there are photos," Mark said. "You left before the summary. You claimed you were chairing the dinner." "I had to take an important call," Michael said. "Calls don't explain the missing check," Mark said. "We need answers." He walked away with his head down. I felt satisfaction edged with emptiness. This was necessary for Jake. At home, Emma stood in the kitchen, hands around a mug. "They're asking him questions," she said. "I saw," I said. "I think he's in trouble," she whispered, surprised by the fear on her face. "Does that change things?" I asked. "It wasn't supposed to go this far," she said. "You didn't expect the consequences of your choices," I said. She flinched. "I never wanted to hurt Jake." "It hurt all of us," I said. I looked at Jake's drawing on the fridge. 2 figures, one labeled Daddy, one labeled Mike. My throat tightened. "We need to make sure he knows who's here for him. How?" She asked. "Be honest," I said. "Be present. Stop protecting him," she nodded. "I want to fix this." Word spread. A donor pulled support. "We can't be associated with instability," one said. I heard Emma pleading with Michael on the phone. "Please tell them you were there." "You can't keep covering," I told her later. "The truth is out." "He says it's a misunderstanding," she said. "Misunderstanding?" I scoffed. "He used Jake to get close to you." "I didn't know," she whispered. "I should have." "You should have," I said softly. Now we pick up the pieces. At a community event, Michael moved through polite nods that didn't reach eyes. A board member asked him, "Are you sure the finance issues are rumors?" "Just rumors," he said, smiling too hard. "Rumors don't make checks go missing," she said. His composure cracked. Triumph pinched my chest, but so did regret. Revenge tasted like ash. Back home, Jake climbed into my lap. "Daddy, is Uncle Mike gone?" he asked. "He won't be around as much," I said. "People must take responsibility. Is he bad?" he asked. "No," I said quickly. "Just not the same." He pushed his drawing at me. "Can we draw now?" "Yeah," I said, hugging him. I felt proud and guilty. Michael's boss called him in. "We have to let you go," the man said in a measured tone. "What?" "You can't," Michael protested. "We have concerns about your conduct." "This affects the company's reputation." I watched the video call from a quiet corner. He slumped back, exposed panic on his face. The smile that once charmed rooms was gone. Emma found him after and begged, "Michael, please." "I didn't know." "Save it," he snapped. "You should have seen this coming." He stormed out, dignity shredded. I felt cold victory and a deeper ache. "You okay?" Ryan asked when I told him. "I thought I would feel better," I said. "But seeing him fall, it's painful." "That's the cost," Ryan said. "You wanted him removed." "I did," I said. "But what price?" "Emma looks broken. Jake's drawing still has a hole where someone's name used to be. I kept my son, but I lost something, my innocence." "You changed," Ryan said. "I did," I admitted. "I became what I needed to be." I kept my son. Yet every gain feels like a wound. As I walked Jake to school the next week, a neighbor whispered, "Heard Michael got fired." I nodded. "Yeah," I said. "People have to answer for what they do." That night, Michael called. "You ruined me," he said through teeth. I showed facts, I said. "You chose this path. You think you saved your son?" He snarled. "People will judge you. They'll judge truth," I said. "I'll be the one here when Jake needs me." Emma sat on the stairs when I got home. "He cursed you," she whispered. "What did he say?" "He said you'd pay." She looked crushed. "I don't know how to fix this." "Start with honesty," I said. "Tell Jake the simple truth. Stop protecting excuses," she wiped her face. "I will." The next morning I met a lawyer. "Document everything," she advised. "Show involvement. Limit access if needed." "I will," I said. At the park, Jake asked, "Can we read today?" "Of course," I said, feeling small joys like armor. Simple days became proof of what mattered. I had taken down a rival, but I had also reclaimed the small, ordinary moments that made up our life. That night I watched Jake sleep, small fist curled under his cheek. I whispered, "I did this for you." My voice was steady, but my chest ached. I had won, and the victory sat like a stone in my stomach. I sat on the edge of Jake's bed, watching him curl under the blankets. "Daddy?" he whispered. "Yeah, buddy?" I said. "Will things be normal?" I hesitated. "Normal takes time, Jake, but I'll make sure you're safe. That's what matters." He nodded, trusting me completely. I stroked his hair and thought about the past months. Emma, Michael, the lies, the betrayals. The anger that had consumed me. The careful steps I had taken. The subtle manipulations that tore their world apart. I remembered my own reflection during those nights. Dark circles under my eyes, heart racing with fury. Did I become someone I didn't want to be? I whispered. Ryan had warned me. Revenge eats people, he had said. And he was right. I had tasted it. The thrill of watching Michael stumble. The satisfaction of seeing Emma's guilt. And yet the taste was bitter, leaving a hollow ache in my chest. I had to decide what came next. Exposing Emma publicly could ruin her completely, but would it fix anything for Jake? No. I wanted my son to grow up with stability, not with a father consumed by bitterness. I pulled out my phone and looked at the custody documents. "I can secure him," I muttered. "I can make sure he knows where home is, who protects him, and who loves him unconditionally." Emma came into the room quietly. "I didn't mean for any of this," she whispered. "Emma," I said carefully, "you made choices. Consequences follow. But this isn't about punishment anymore. It's about Jake." "I don't know how to fix it," she admitted, voice small. "You can start by being honest with him," I said. "No more secrets, no more hiding. That's how you help him heal. That's how we all move forward," she nodded, tears brimming. "I will." I looked at her for a long moment and felt a strange mix of pity and resolve. I couldn't trust her completely again, not the way I once did. But forgiveness wasn't the point. I had to focus on protecting my son. "Jake," I called softly, "come here." He ran over, eyes bright and curious. What is it, Daddy? We're going to have a fresh start, I said. You and me will figure out life together. We'll build trust, fun, and safety. No more confusion about who's in charge. Daddy is here. Daddy is staying, he smiled, throwing his arms around me. I'm glad, Daddy. That hug felt like the first warm sunlight after months of storms. I breathed in the small, perfect weight of him, promising silently that I would never let another man, or another lie, replace me in his life. Later, I met with my lawyer. Custody filings are ready, she said. You'll have full legal control, and visitation is clearly defined for her. Michael is out of the picture, I nodded. Good. I want stability for Jake, not continued conflict. You're sure? She asked. I am, I said. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's about him. Driving home, I thought about the path I had taken, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the careful, calculated steps to reclaim what was mine. I realized the anger that had once consumed me had transformed into clarity, a focused drive to protect what mattered. At home, I saw Jake playing with blocks on the living room floor. Want to build a castle? I asked. Yes, he shouted. I sank to the floor beside him, watching his imagination take flight. As we built towers and moats, I thought about Emma. She would be present, accountable, but she would not control our lives anymore. Michael's influence was gone. The lies were unraveling, and for the first time in months, I felt a quiet, solid sense of control, tempered by responsibility, not rage. I whispered to myself, I survived betrayal. I survived anger. I survived the darkness, and now I rebuild. Jake placed a block on top of the castle. Look, Daddy, we did it. I smiled genuinely. We did, buddy. We did it together. I realized that the path forward wasn't about vengeance or punishment. It was about presence, protection, and love. I could let go of the rage that had defined me, and in its place, I could nurture, guide, and watch my son grow. Daddy, Jake said suddenly, looking at me seriously, you're my hero. My throat tightened. And you're mine, buddy, always. I watched him laugh, the sound pure and untainted, and I understood fully. Redemption wasn't about punishing others. Redemption was choosing what mattered most, even when it cost me pride, control, or satisfaction. I took his hand and said, Come on, let's keep building. One block at a time, okay? Okay, he shouted, his energy filling the room, and in that moment I felt it. Closure, not because others had fallen, but because I had risen. I was still flawed, still haunted by betrayal, but I had chosen the path that gave life back to the one who mattered most. My son. Jake ran ahead on the playground, laughing, his small feet kicking up dust. Daddy, catch me! I jogged after him, pretending to stumble and fall. Oh no, you got me. He giggled uncontrollably. Gotcha. I crouched, letting him climb onto my back. All right, buddy, let's go slow. Daddy's getting old. You're not old, Daddy, he said. You're strong. I smiled, letting his words settle like sunlight. Strong, yes, but also scarred. The past months had left marks I could never erase. Betrayal had cut deep, but I had survived it, had turned pain into resolve, had reclaimed what mattered most. We sat on the swings, legs pumping in sync. Do you miss Mommy? I asked gently. Jake thought for a moment. Sometimes, he admitted. But you're here. You're always here. Always, I said, voice steady. That won't change. Nothing will take Daddy away from you. He smiled and leaned against me. I let myself feel the weight of it, the quiet peace of a small, ordinary life restored. The battles with Michael, the careful planning, the emotional chaos, all that fire had led to this calm. I remembered our home empty and tense, emails and texts exposed, arguments that left us raw. I remembered the cold fury I had felt walking away from Michael's office and the hollow satisfaction that followed each small victory. Daddy, Jake asked suddenly, can we draw today? Of course, I said. We spread paper and crayons on the floor. I watched him create towers, boats, people with smiling faces. I realized my priorities had shifted. It wasn't revenge, it wasn't pride, it was him. Emma and Michael were gone. Their absence left a hollow echo, a reminder of the betrayal that had shattered my trust. I felt sadness, yes, and a quiet grief for what could have been, but also liberation. I was free to rebuild, to be present, to guide Jake without fear of another man overshadowing my place. The phone rang. It was a colleague. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I am," I said. "Life is steady again. I'm focusing on what matters." "Good to hear," she said. "You deserve peace." Peace, I realized, wasn't the absence of pain, but the mastery over it. I had learned the depths of betrayal, yes, but also the strength within me to endure, to protect, to rise. Jake held up a crayon figure. "Daddy, this is you!" I laughed. "And me without a cape?" "You don't need one," he said. "You're already my hero." I felt a swell in my chest. His innocence, his trust, his unwavering love, it was the anchor that had pulled me from the storm. I had chosen him over anger, over revenge, over bitterness. That choice had saved both of us. Later, we walked home, hands clasped. The sun was low, casting long shadows, soft and golden. "Do you want ice cream?" I asked. "Yes," he shouted. "Chocolate!" As we laughed and ran toward the shop, I allowed myself a quiet thought. Life would never be perfect. Scars would remain, reminders of the past, of deceit and pain. But scars were proof of survival. I stopped for a moment and looked at the horizon, breathing deeply. "We're going to be okay," I whispered to myself. "We're going to rebuild." Step by step, Jake tugged on my hand. "Come on, Daddy. Don't stop!" I jogged beside him, smiling, letting his energy carry me. Freedom was in this simple joy, in the knowledge that I had reclaimed control. That betrayal no longer dictated my life. That the life I had rebuilt was anchored in love, not fear. That night, putting Jake to bed, he hugged me tightly. "I love you, Daddy." "I love you too," I said. "More than anything." I turned off the light, letting him sleep peacefully. I walked to the window, looking out at the quiet neighborhood. The house was calm. The chaos was gone. I felt lost for the life I once had, yes, but I also felt liberation. The past could not touch me anymore. I whispered softly to the night. We survived. We will thrive. And for the first time in months, I allowed myself to believe it. A new beginning, fragile but real, built on the love I had fought to protect.